I want to focus on, he calls it space. You can call it God, source. You can call it the unified field. You can call it the quantum field. Whatever word you have, what I found was I was using his word space, but I like the word vacuum of space because a vacuum pulls in and then a vacuum will send out. And so in the quantum field, if I'm adding my positive information to my unified field, then that information is sent out to all the atoms, the molecule, the cells, the tissue, the organs, and the systems. And I was doing that. And what came in was I had anger around my pancreas. I'm pre-diabetic and I'm really tired of it. And that would be information that somehow I have brought in and my pancreas took it on. So I need to let go of that. If we don't have anything in our DNA that says we're supposed to die, then what causes us to get sick and die is an energy. And we do energy work. So it's literally learning the technique. Well, now what I'm thinking is, in the unified field, that's where all the universal laws are governed. It never changes. There's no duality. It's God consciousness. It's perfect. It's source consciousness. It's perfect. So instead of thinking about healing, the process of healing, and it taking place in the future, what if we focus on what we used to call jumping realities? This is how it is right here and now. And I put it into the field that balance, harmony, perfect health, whatever words come to you, it goes into the unified field, which is what we've been kind of working on over the last few weeks, and letting it go. And then claiming it's done. Which is also what we've been started working on. So when I'm listening to his part 3, he's saying in the unified world, we come into it as it's all about me. These are all my problems. So you come into the unified world focused on myself. And then in the unified world, we become, so I'm a somebody. In the unified world, I become a nobody. And then I become everybody. And it's about something, and then it's about nothing, and then it's about all things. We become one with everyone. We become one with all of life. We become one with. Okay, what are your thoughts on that?
I've seen Joe Dispenza live, and he took us to the space of nowhere, no one, where we were nobody, and just, I mean, it was fascinating. And so I've also worked on that. I've worked on it many times where I've laid in bed and I've just dissolved, become particles, became one with the room I was in. And in doing so, when I pull myself back together, I'm reformulating the particles to be pain-free or illness-free as I put myself back together. And I love, I've read a little bit about theta healing, and in theta healing, you go to the place where all that is resides. And then when you're there, you declare what you require, what you command, because you're one with all that is. And it's like, I command a healing for, or for me, for this, for that person. And then you claim it done already. When you're up there, you claim it done in theta healing. And then you bring yourself back down to either the human level or the animal level, the plant level, and energetically do your healing of self or others there. And then when you're done, you go back, and she says, shower yourself off with the energy of all that is. So it's sort of what you're doing, Sue, it seems like you're taking a combination of both of those concepts of declaring it already done, because in doing so, we know our own power, that it is done. And if energy is the cause of our illnesses that eventually kill us, then that energy is coming from what? Our thoughts, right? Because we're storing, the only way that we can store that energy within us is through our thoughts. Well, I mean, besides outside substances like toxins that we might breathe in or consume, but yeah, I think that I think if we can reprogram our thoughts to declare that everything we already want is done, it's done. And what's interesting is I've been kind of working on that a little bit since we started this done theory, and also combining it with the theta healing. And I think Joe Dispenza takes his crew on, when he does like those week-long retreats, he takes them to the theta brain wavelength to get them to dissolve into nothing. But I have been doing just what you are saying. I'm realizing that right now when I'm every night before I go to bed and every morning, because my stepfather was having a procedure that we were all really worried about, and my cat is suffering, and my I can't remember now, but I had all these little things. So I was doing just what you were saying, except doing it for the healing of others. And I'm noticing a shift in my cat. The procedure for my stepfather came out so much better than anyone had expected. It wasn't the profound miracle I was asking for, but it was close. And do just what you said. I'm excited to do this today. Yeah, fun. I love that you're thinking, and it's like we're tapping into the same source but translating it into our own language. It'd be fun to see what Maria Christina thinks.
Ooh, there's so many thoughts coming in. So when you were talking, I was just I don't know, I don't understand quantum physics at all in the science of it or mathematics or anything. I'm not a number related person at all, but But what I know, what they found out, and what feels really true for me is that every cell of our body has everything within, you know, and what we say past, present, and future, which actually in the field, in the quantum field, doesn't exist. There is no past, there is no future, there's only the present. And also relating to Adamu's messages that says there is no space and time either. So it's all now in this moment. And I relate a lot with technology, and and that we, you know, we are like, we have this hardware, and we have our operating systems, and we have our apps and our programs that are running, that we can change, reprogram immediately, just like you can rewrite a code and a script. Yeah, so to do that in a space with others, I think that's really, really powerful, when we can just focus on ourselves, knowing that we don't need to do it for anybody else, because if we do it for us, the whole field transports it to whatever is right for them. I have also been receiving a lot of information, and heard other people speak it out too, but receiving it myself, that we are actually, and I don't want to shock anybody, but actually healing others is over. It's you know, we can't heal anybody. What we can do is heal ourselves. We can be here for others and hold space, or, you know, have an encouraging word, but at the end we can't do it for nobody. And that's kind of becoming a concept of the past, or it's being rewritten. But how it's gonna look in future, I don't know. It's just feeling and resonating so much. And I am in healing, you know, the work I do, my mediumship work, has to do with healing. So and it's really hard for a lot of people to hear that you know, actually healers are out. But we're not, because if we heal what is within, and I also feel that we all carry everything. I mean, all the traumas are somehow in our cells, of everything that ever has happened in all the aspects. So if we can heal that in a moment like this, if it's just one little aspect, I know that it's gonna go out and have its effects. But I need to start here. I need to start here. So I think that's awesome. That's awesome.
You know, I do. Marie Christine, you bring up something really, really important, because the ultimate goal of any healer is to put herself out of business, is to empower someone else to be able to do the work themselves. So I think the teaching of a healer is to just give the tools.
Mm-hmm.
And Sue, that's a lot of what you do for us in this group, is to give people the tools to do it themselves. And yet it has been my experience. I mean, of course, we as humans can't heal anybody. I mean, we can't without the the connection to all that is, right? Where we are a vessel or we are a channel, where then we are healing ourselves to share that energy with the world, which I think theta healing and a lot of what, what that is about. But it has been my experience that people are deathly afraid to ask for a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't know that they are so afraid to ask for a miracle, especially when they are in such need of one. And so with a lot of my clients, I lean in and I've been listening to that. And I think they are so afraid to ask for a miracle because if it doesn't happen,
Mm-hmm.
what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Does it mean that they're not worthy in God's eyes? Does it mean that they're, that they don't have any internal grace or power? Or what does it mean to their faith? If they pray for a miracle and it doesn't happen, what happens to their faith? And I think they're deathly afraid of losing that faith.
Mm-hmm.
So it has been my gift to people to say, you just work on feeling better and I will pray for the miracle. I will bring in the miracle for you because, so a lot of times what I do is I'll type out the prayer for a miracle, like, what Sue was saying, consider it already done. This is the visual that I have for you and your wholeness. And this is the miracle that I am asking for you as the surrogate of you, because it is too frightening for you to ask for the miracle yourself. But I usually type it out because when they read it, they are digesting the words for themselves. And in doing so, set in motion the ability to accept the miracle when it comes. So I'm not doing the healing for anyone because I so agree with you. And I'm so glad you brought that up, Maria Christina. But there is a place until people truly recognize their power that Sue's talking about, that there are the healers that need to teach them, offer them, hold space for them, pray for the miracle for them. But it's not me that's doing the healing, right? It's not me. It's not a hands-on healing anymore. That's gone.
And so being a facilitator and a voice, and an example, if you want, that they can reach whatever they desire by themselves, but like the space holders, we become the space holders. Yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, so let me tell you one more thing. I've been practicing focusing on the space. Remember we did the the energy centers, and we focused on the space around the energy center, and then beyond that, around the center, and then around the body. And that space, I think is most important, is to find the words that resonate with you about that space. So I'm using a few words like quantum field. What that means is we can jump reality. I can go from my limiting beliefs to total surrender to the God consciousness and let the God consciousness take over. And to me, that's what we are working towards, is going from all our limiting beliefs our fears, setting aside our ego, because that keeps us locked into the past, and then projecting into the future based on past experiences. We don't need any of that. The ability and the willingness to trust and to surrender, those are really huge. They block 99% of us. So focusing on the space, what I found was my brain started making adjustments. That's what it felt like. My brain was responding. My mind and my brain together were responding to the field, the space, God consciousness. But it scared me. It's like jumping into the deep end of the pool, thinking I can't swim. Doesn't matter if I can or can't, or if I'm even an expert in swimming. If I think I am in over my head and I can't swim, I can't swim. So it scared me. And I've had trouble getting back to it. So today what I want to do is we're gonna use the bridge. And at the beginning of the bridge, we set aside our ego, we set aside our fears, we set aside our limiting beliefs. And then we're going to walk across this bridge. And on the other side, you put it into your words. But when you step off the bridge into its space, no forms, no gardens, just space. And what we want to do is, before we step off, is set our intention to surrender, to trust, to have an open mind and an open heart for a greater experience. And then we just step off the bridge into space. And we're going to let space take us. Actually, whatever the experience is for you, that's right for you. And I don't want to put any words into it because it needs to be your own experience.
Can I say something?
Yes.
What I just was feeling and thinking is space being undiscovered or potentials, unopened potential.
Yes, unlimited possibilities. Yes, yes. Okay, so get comfortable. Any questions? Anything?
Just give me 10 seconds.
Okay.
I need the water for when I come back.
Okay.
It helps me ground when I come back after the meditations. I need the water too.
I got my pink on. Pink, where's your pink?
Got it here.
We got our pink. Yes, actually, anytime we do a meditation, we should drink a lot of water afterwards because there's a really good chance we're releasing some things. Okay, so first I want to, any dark energies, entities, parasitic hitchhikers, intruders, invaders, be gone. And we call in our spiritual teams to surround us, to scan us, and ask for any help removing limiting beliefs and fears, limiting any distractions, anything that is hampering our journey today. We put up our red rock vortex, and we just know we are safe. So now, if you are ready, we want to set aside our egos. We're setting the intention to set aside. We're choosing, we're making the decision to set aside all limiting beliefs, all our fears, we're setting aside all resistance. And we're just setting them on a coat hanger, a bench, a chair, just literally, physically see yourself set something down. Take a deep breath and let it go. And if you have a spirit guide that goes with you everywhere, bring your spirit guide with you or invite your spirit guide in and step up onto a bridge. And the quantum field means we can go from a human consciousness to the spiritual consciousness. I see human 500 and below frequency. I see spirit 550 and above. And I see the frequency to 1,000, at which point we become invisible. We'll cross from the physical into the unseen above 1,000. That's how I see frequencies. And in between 550 to 1,000 are all those wonderful God qualities we rely on, such as compassion and kindness, understanding, forgiveness, gratitude, all of those wonderful qualities. We're going to walk right through all of those qualities. We're going to walk into a mist. And the mist just means we can't see anything beyond the mist, to prepare us, give us time to reach that point of surrender, to reach the point of trust, to reach the point of the willingness to embrace a new experience. So take your time, or you might even already be there. Take your time, walk the rest of the bridge. Your bridge is as short or as long as you need it to be. And when you come out of the mist, there is no form. It is a space beyond all form. Infinite possibilities, unconditional love. And this is your own experience of walking into the unknown. And I will call us back in about 15 minutes. And now, while you are in this space, see someone who needs help. Know that within that person, there is the same God consciousness in their mind, in their heart, in their soul. For them to have a new experience in whatever way is best for them. And any intention you want to set for yourself, anything you want to claim, then let it go. It's done. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Well, the phone didn't ring this time, but the cat came by. And this cat needs to eat every hour and a half to 2 hours. And she's early, but she's reaching out with a paw and very long nails. And I decided to go and feed her. And when I came back, I had to work a little harder to get centered. And it's like I had to start over, but in starting over, I went deeper. So it was great. I fed you. I fed you.
The second you started the meditation, Sue, the doorbell rang and the dog started barking. And I'm like, oh God, I hope I'm on mute. And so I ran and had to take care of the door and calm the dog down. And that took a few moments. And then I came back and my pets were like, you haven't fed me. You haven't fed me. So I had to feed my pets too. And then I came back and I sat down. I was down in my kitchen and I thought I'm just going to tap in really fast. And I was able to get there really fast. And then the person who was at the doorbell is this pest control person because we're having a huge invasion of ants. And he was right outside my window. And I'm like, oh God, this is awkward. So I had to pick up and move up here. But, you know, Joe Dispenza believes so strongly. And also the woman that I read about Theta Healing is, it's like, get there quickly, go there quickly. Don't go there through a process, because if you go there through a process, you'll get distracted and your mind will take you someplace else. So just get there as quickly as you can and then be in that zone. And so it was a good challenge for me to just do that and to be in that place where then I could expand and see that bridge. And anyway, it was beautiful despite the multiple distractions. So.
I had no distractions at all. External distractions. And it was so a beautiful, deep experience I just had. And I spent quite a lot of time on the bridge, because when Sue, you mentioned like you know, compassion and friendliness and all these words, which I received the feeling, I had the feelings of it, and I wanted to move on. And then it was like the counterparts, or you know, we live in this duality. The counterparts showed up and said, like, you know, anger and frustration and wrath and disappointments and sadness. And the feeling I had is, energetically it was like an infinity sign, and my being in the middle, and on one side there was these what we call beautiful, nice, loving energy frequencies, and on the other side was the ones that we consider more heavy and not so nice, but they caught my attention, and it was like they were talking to me, saying, take us with you, take us with you. And it puzzled me a bit, but then I thought, okay, and I just acknowledged it, and I crossed over into the mist. And the moment I did that, I felt like I was cloaked, like I was covered up, but the center of my being was brighter than I can explain, and it was like the frequency of the light went through this cloaking, and becoming a light post, a light tower, just for both sides. That's what I was aware, meaning for the side that is on this side of the bridge, and for the other side of the bridge as well. And I stayed in that mist, and then I had some distraction. Well, Egypt, my Egypt crew always shows up. But it was just, was beautiful. I can't say anything else. It was bliss. So, and I couldn't believe that 15 minutes had gone by when you started to talk again. I don't know, 15 minutes? No, that's not possible. So it's a good sign. Yeah.
So Maria Christine, what do you think the concept or purpose of the other side of your infinity symbol wanting to come with you, the anger, the frustration, the worry, and you decided to bring them with you? What became of them? How did they present themselves when you said, yes, come?
It was just part of the whole. It was like, it's like the other side of the medal. No, that's not right. It was just, the feeling was it belongs together, to keep the scale. I don't know if that makes any sense, what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, it does. I think
but it wasn't, it wasn't bothering me, or it wasn't scary or anything. It was more this feeling, it's also part of my being. It's also part of the construct that I am as a human, or we are as a human. And like, it was like, don't leave us behind, or don't ignore us, because in my way of thinking, the more we ignore those aspects and try to get rid of them, the more they show up. So it was kind of that type of feeling I had. And once I was over in the mist, both were gone. I mean, both sides were gone. Yeah. very neutral place in the mist, but I stayed in that kind of mist. There wasn't any clarity. I didn't perceive or see. I just felt being light for both sides of the veil, both sides of the veil or the bridge.
Yeah, so neutrality, but also it sounds like you also, what would the word be? Integrated, both sides, integrated and became one. So instead of there being two versions of you, your spiritual self and higher frequency and your lower frequency human self, you integrated and became one with yourself as well as with the mist. And I think that that's really important, because I think a lot of people would choose to abandon that part of them and to say, you have to stay and I'm leaving, you know, and that would maybe even create an anchor, like on the other side of the bridge, create an anchor keeping us from growing and expanding if we don't bring it with us and work with it when it presents itself. I suppose that means we're also embracing, like you said, our humanness. We are bringing our humanness with us and honoring everything that she goes through. Because by denying any of her experiences, we're denying a fraction of ourselves. Otherwise, we wouldn't be in a human body. We would just be energy.
Yeah.
So that, I think that that's beautifully important and incredibly insightful. I know that Elizabeth Gilbert in her book, Big Magic, writes about the importance of fear. And she realizes that fear will always be there, always be with her. And so now she will always include fear and bring it along for the ride. But she sets rules and she says, you know, okay, you can come along for my trip, you can come along for the ride, but you don't get any control. You don't get to choose the snacks. You don't get to choose the radio station. You get to have to sit in the back seat, and you don't get to control where we go, but you will always be included. I will always bring you with me, fear, but you don't have control. And then her fear quiets down, because that's all it wants is acknowledgement that it exists. And so it can be quiet, but sitting in the back, strapped into its car seat, and then along for the ride, but has no control. That's beautiful.
So next week, we'll take that all with us. Next week, we'll take all that we are, all that we have, all that we receive, all that we share. We'll take it all with us across the bridge. Because you know what? We have to come to a point where we realize just because we experience duality, it doesn't mean we leave anything behind. We just need to bring it together in a healthy way. So that will be next week. We'll bring it together.
Yeah, you know, when I was sort of given the analogy of the ladder of ascension, and you know, when we're born perfect, we sort of slide down this ladder to the very bottom, and we spend the rest of our life trying to climb the ladder to a higher frequency, to where we came from, to where all that is. But every single rung on the ladder is a different frequency from where we've been. So it's always unfamiliar. And so as we climb this ladder, we don't recognize the frequency of this new location that we find ourselves. And whenever we step on that ladder rung, we jump off in a panic and we start to swing. And so in our evolution as humans, becoming more spiritual, we swing between our human self and the lower frequency to the higher frequency of what the potential of this ascension process can bring. I mean, here we're exposed to new gifts, we're exposed to a new way of seeing life and things. And then over here, we're experiencing fear and concern and wanting to go back to what's familiar. And so we swing and we swing, but the higher up the ladder we go, and we're always tethered and tied to where we came from. So that's what, that allows us to swing until we assimilate, like Maria Christina did, and we find ourselves back on the ladder, comfortable, until we have another moment of ascension and growth, and then we swing again. And but the higher we ascend, the shorter that tether becomes, and the less swinging there is, because it's shorter and we spend less time in each area. And so like Maria Christina, you were in the middle of this infinity, so that's like the ladder of ascension, the two sides of the ladder that I see in my mind's eye. And your ascension process is making it smaller and smaller and smaller until you're finally just completely assimilated in one.
I am
until you become the I am.
I am.
The I is us. Our ladder, our personal ladder.
Wow.
Well, after I fed the cat, I tried to get back into that space, and I couldn't. And the harder I tried, I was going to start to get angry, and it was like, whoa, wait a minute, this is not, I'm losing it here. And so I just sat there, and what came in was, I got super, super hungry. All of a sudden, I got acutely hungry. It was like, oh, these are distractions. These are all distractions. I need to choose what I'm going to focus on. So it was like, okay, all these distractions are distractions. It's just the way it is. I choose not to focus on you. I choose to go back and focus on space. I'm putting space as my priority. Space is my focus. And the hunger went away. And something else came in, and I said, I choose not to. Something else came in, and I choose not to. I choose to stay focused on the space. And then I got really centered. It was awesome. So while we're making this climb on this ladder, it looks like, and that's in the Bible, we will be distracted. Mm-hmm. We have choices. Mm-hmm. And I believe my true human power is in the choices I make. Mm-hmm. And that's part of claiming that I'm a spiritual being and I am healed. That's a choice to believe that. So, okay, been very interesting. What we do in a group is so much more powerful for me than when I try to do all by myself. And that just is amazing to me.
Thank you so much.
This is fun. Good conversation too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I can really see the swinging and then the little swinging. And it's like, as I go up my ladder, that big swing is become less and less and less. And
remember the olden days when we very first started out, how long we used to reside in a place of anxiety or fear. And the only thing that can get us from the side of anxiety and fear and worry and anger and all those lower frequency ones is the awareness that we're there. And the second we have awareness, like, oh my God, I'm feeling really anxious, when we have that self-awareness, then we start to swing back. It's like, okay, breathe, breathe. And then we get here, we might just end up here. But usually what happens is we swing to the other side. Or, you know, when we ascend one more step and we're given a huge gift or an insight in meditation, we might come out of there another level higher, and we're swinging over here and we read people's minds, or we see auras, or, you know, stuff that we hadn't been able to see before. And then that freaks us out when we swing over here and we're like, what's happening to me? When we have all those ascension side effects, you know, and then we swing over here and then we're like, wait, why am I afraid of this? Okay. But yeah, when we get higher up, the swing just gets less and less and less.
Less dramatic.
Less dramatic.
Neutral. I like that. Just little swings.
Yeah. The neutrality. That's what Mary Christina said. Yep.
Thank you. Very,
Thank
very.
you. See you soon somewhere.
On a mini vacation. Does that mean we're not meeting tonight at 5:30? Did anybody know?
Unless she, let me look at her emails. She said what was still happening. Oh, she didn't. She just talked about next week. She didn't talk about this week. I don't know. I can't be part of it. I'm traveling tonight, so.
And I will be.
Yes, you will.
Safe travels, and until we meet again.
Yes, until we meet again.
Until we meet again. Thank you very much.
So much fun, Sue. Thanks for all your hard work. It's so nice. Such a treat.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Enjoy your day.